Welcome to the She's So Bossy podcast with Jackie Russo and Melissa Both, where the 1.9% of women who built million-dollar businesses come to share their story.
Melissa, I am so excited about today's guest. I think what Laurel has done in building Hampr is like textbook lesson on how women build businesses, how challenging it is, where the investment funding comes from, where the challenges of that are, how to, pivot every time you run into a wall, find your way around the corner. I mean, she just checks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, it was fascinating to hear all of those business roadblocks, milestones, and developments, and to hear how her whole mission too is like, who am I serving? The empathy and the relationships with her employees being remote is fascinating. So it was really interesting to hear what a good mix of the drive and the relationship. It's a great story, good story to hear and be inspired by.
I mean, it's awesome. And, she obviously, as she mentions, started and ran an agency in Lafayette. So I'm going to say, and I'll use air quotes here, she was our competition for a while. Mm. And so I knew her from that way. And so to see what she's done next, I love standing on the sidelines and cheering for her because I am so excited for what she's doing. And I think it's so helpful to the community that she serves.
Agreed. And what was the quote that now we're going to be using? A love nudge from the universe?
Love nudge.
We're all about the love nudge now. Looking for the love nudge. Everybody, just keep your radar open for the love nudge from the universe and go listen because you're right around the corner to your next milestone. You're closer than you think.
When you get that nudge, you just keep on climbing that hill.
Amen, sister.
All right. So y'all give a listen to Laurel and her story. Welcome to the podcast, Laurel. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. So I want to kind of, from a timeline perspective, jump around a little bit, if that's okay with you. So I thought we would start by talking about just kind of Hampr, the catalyst, what's happening, what's going on, and then backtrack a little bit because you've had these other really impressive women-started led companies that kind of got you here. But I want to start with Hampr because that's really the topic of the day. So if you don't mind, tell the people what Hampr is all about.
Yeah, so Hampr was started out of a pain point that I had as a working mom. I was running a marketing agency and traveling a lot for work. I had, at the time, they were little. I have two sons. They were 4 and 6, and I came home and there was laundry everywhere. We had T-ball opening day and like 3 birthday parties on the weekend. And I was at the ballpark and I was ordering groceries on my phone. And I was like, that's not my pain point because we can run through the drive-thru, we can order pizza, but we physically weren't home to do our laundry. And at the same time, I had a stay-at-home mom friend who was always asking me if she could do extra things for my marketing company because she had 5 kids. And I thought, but she couldn't drive for Uber. She couldn't shop for Instacart. And I thought, I don't really have anything for my company, but you could do my laundry because you're home and I'm not. And so that was the genesis of Hampr, was you have this really conscientious supply base of stay-at-home parents and retirees. They live down the street from people who want to throw money at their problems like me. Let's just match them up. And so that's what we did. We launched in January of 2020. And using that peer-to-peer model, we've scaled to 20 different states over the last 5 years.
Wow, that is impressive.
Thanks. It's been wild.
That's amazing. That kind of growth, I think, would break a regular person. How have you managed to keep up with all of that? Because, I watch clients scale all the time. That's rocket-like scale.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging, I think, and I've never done venture scale before. This was all new. So I remember getting a cap table for the first time in 2019, and I talked to my attorney and I said, okay, talk to me like I'm in 2nd grade. I don't know what any of this means. I didn't even know that cap table stood for capitalization table. So I've literally learned everything from scratch.
Thank you for defining it.
Yes. We have to tear down those acronyms to have it all make sense. But I think I'm just not afraid of asking the questions and looking kind of stupid, or I don't have that fear of being cringe or anything. I'm just like, I don't know it. I'm going to ask. If I'm supposed to know it, I don't. So let me learn it and figure it out. And so I think that's kind of kept me sane through all of it. Just not being afraid to ask questions.
In the early days, I would imagine you were doing two things. You were running the marketing agency and launching Hampr.
Mhm.
Was there a thought that Hampr was going to be just like an agency client? At what point did you realize, oh, wait, I'm running two entirely separate companies and something's got to give?
Yeah, I think we always intended for Hamper to be venture scale. We saw this to be like an Uber for laundry. It
Hmm.
just made sense nationally. We need to figure out how to get investment, blow this up. Like we saw the success Waiter was having, and we thought we could do that. So that was always the intention. It was a matter of like, let's just get it off the ground and see what happens. And there was going to be a natural point for me to deviate from Rally, which was the agency I was running. And weirdly enough, I kind of got a love shove from the universe because I got the flu really bad and I was out for 2 weeks. And it was a really nice shift where everybody at the agency thought, oh, I can't access Laurel. And so for 2 weeks, I just figured out how to do things without me. And then it was like, oh, let's just keep going. I'll just actually now transition because everyone's used to this now. So it was just a nice universe moment.
Okay, I
I
like
love the
love
term love
shove.
shove.
Right?
Yeah,
I wrote that
yeah.
down. I was like, love
I'm like,
shove.
hold on,
Okay.
write that down.
Yeah. I can't claim that. One of my executive coaches gave me that bit of feedback because I would say, everything is so hard. Why is this happening? And she says, oh, it's just a love shove from the universe. And I thought, oh, I like that framing. I'm going to steal it.
Yes. Yes.
We
R&D.
all like a good reframe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Rip off and duplicate. R&D. So
exactly.
I know Melissa's probably going to launch into a question, but I am just dying to jump in ahead. So I apologize in advance.
Go.
You, I thought, made a really valuable point right at the beginning where you talked about not knowing cap tables. And I think most people would have this reaction of, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to Google it on the side. I'm not going to admit it. I like the fact that you just kind of faced it and said, like, I don't know. And it's okay that you don't know. Talk about that for a minute, because that's not how a lot of people would be. A lot of people would, try to act like they did know.
Yeah, I think that's the fake it till you make it. That's a big thing in the venture community. And it's dangerous because you're talking about investors and people's money. And you really can't, there's some stuff you just can't fake. And you shouldn't because it's illegal. For me, I think we started before ChatGPT was a thing. And I think now you can get so much knowledge from chat that you could do some of that side Googling with AI and actually probably get there faster. I've had it walk me through a few things. But I wanted to know the actual answer and I wanted to know it as soon as possible because the faster I learned all that stuff, the faster I could grow and accelerate what I was trying to do with Hamper. And so I think just realizing go to the source, don't be afraid to look stupid. You're not supposed to know all of this. And I think as women in particular, we try to apply knowledge to the past. Like, oh, I learned this. I should have known it 6 months ago when I did XYZ. It's like you can't retroactively apply knowledge. And the sooner you own that, the better it's going to be. And then the faster you can get moving.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where you thought that it felt almost like halting or doubt was creeping in, or like, I wonder if this is going to work, or can I do it? Should I keep going? All that creeps in.
All the time. Yes. The imposter syndrome
Mm-hmm.
is big. And, there's a statistician quote that says all models are wrong, but some are useful. And it's really hard to accept that when you build a financial model, when you build a forecast and a plan, it's with the information that you have in that moment. But it's wrong because things are changing all the time. And so there are moments when something wouldn't go according to plan. And it's like, oh, what am I even doing? Do I even know what I'm doing? And you just accept it and say, you don't. And just try to figure out the next best thing to do.
You're learning
Because
the whole
nobody knows.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you. That's helpful. Yeah.
You're the definition of building the plane mid-flight. And the fact that you've now built a fleet of planes while flying, I think is impressive. If I remember your history correctly, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, you know your background better than I do. This is the first time you've built a business that went into the venture capital space and had to go have all those investor meetings, right? Okay, that's what I
Yes.
thought I remembered. So how has that chapter been? What's that process been like?
It is it's one of the most rewarding and challenging things I have ever done. It is like running into a brick wall every day and just thinking maybe today's the day it'll crack. maybe today's the day I'll get through to the other side. You have to have hundreds of conversations just to get one yes. And it's exhausting. And there's a game that they all play because there's a language. And when they say this, they really mean that. And I didn't know any of that early on. I've figured out a lot of it over the years. And that's why it's so important for me to mentor other founders, because I had people help me and say, oh, well, when they say that, they really mean this. And when you say this, it actually makes them think that, because they're pattern matching all the time. I didn't know. I just thought they want to hear about my company and I'm going to tell them about it. Like, absolutely. There is a process and a model that you have to go through when you pitch. And it took me a while to learn that.
Yeah.
And so that means, I'm sorry, Jackie, to interrupt. So just the difference is being like you're asking for investors in your businesses. So you've had others, correct? And is that a different business model that we're talking about?
Yeah. So we had a profitable agency. I started my own agency in 2016 that got acquired by another agency that I ended up running. So I've built a profitable EBITDA business, which is when you're just running off of your balance sheet and all is well. This is a venture-backed business where you're running off of investment dollars to reach a larger scale over time. And then eventually you become an EBITDA business. I had never done that before, and it is a totally different ballgame.
Impressive. And so to just do another little layer of translation, at running a profitable agency, it's bootstrapped, right? It starts with our own equity of sweat and effort and relationships and new business. And I only have to answer to me, my husband / business partner, and the government. What Laurel has to answer to is however many investors she now has that have given her however many millions of dollars that they've given her. And so she doesn't just have a board to answer to. She has people's life savings that she's responsible for. No pressure.
Yeah, it's the stakeholders are very different. It's the board, it's the investors, it's my team that all has equity in the company. I mean, it's very high stakes.
Yeah. I just broke into a sweat thinking about it.
I know. It is kind of crazy to zoom out and go, oh gosh,
what have I done?
What have I done? But I love it. And I get excited because I am so lucky to have really great investors that are just wonderful humans, patient capital. It's not, we didn't raise from the coast. So I don't have Bay Area investors pushing me for an exit in a certain time horizon because their fund has to have returns in a certain window. So I'm very fortunate. A lot of people don't get that flexibility.
And grace.
And to know you were raised. And to know you were raised in your family at the same time too. I know we vacillate on how we broach this topic with women business leaders. Jackie doesn't like that I ask it, but I like to know, how that was with you. You're that second person we've talked to that was raising their family. Jackie did it too at the same time. That's a lot of juggling. How was that for you?
It's funny. I'm not the default parent, which is how that works. I've always kind of been the more breadwinner of my couple, and my husband is the default parent. He's the one the school calls when something goes wrong. A kid gets sick, he's picking up the slack. So in our world, the societal roles are flipped. So I kind of get to act like a man. And that it just doesn't really impact me. I'm still a mom. I show up for the important stuff, just like a dad would for like a school play and everything, but I'm not the default parent.
It's funny. I was talking to a couple of my girlfriends who were founder CEOs last week, and collectively we agreed we'd be further along in our careers with a wife. And so you are proving that.
Yeah. My best friend and I from college were always like, man, we just need another mom in the house, like just one more mom to take care of the little things. And that was my driving force, honestly, behind Hampr, because it's just another set of hands, like helping that mental load that you have and trying to juggle it all and get things done.
Yeah. When I read your story, when I read that word, the mental load, it's like you were fixing a need, to come up with this ingenious idea to alleviate the mental load of something happening. Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And it's kind of morphed over time, but I think not only is it important for the people who use the service, but the people who are providing the service too, because these are caretakers who can't work a traditional 9 to 5 because the nature of care is so chaotic. You might have a mom on chemo and they might have a bad day and you just don't know, and you're their main caretaker and you need the flexibility. So Hampr really helps them with that and they can kind of earn on their own schedule, which is nice.
Right. Right. And you've evolved beyond just residential service, right? You've got a pretty big booming corporate side to this now.
Yes. So that's the big pivot we made at the end of last year. We saw it kind of hit us in the face. I mean, I was so focused on the mental load of families and really solving that pain point. We kept getting market pull from businesses like salons, spas, gyms, think of anything that has a towel or any sort of linen. And they needed service. And I couldn't figure out why they kept calling us. Like, there's got to be commercial services, but there weren't. Or the ones that existed were very restrictive. So you have a 5-year contract, you have one pickup day. And then if it's not your pickup day, you're storing dirty towels all over your gym. And it's just not very conducive to business. So once we started to lean into that, it became, we had a line of sight to profitability because they were producing 15 times the revenue that our consumer clients were producing. So we leaned really hard into that.
Pause 1 second. 15 times the revenue?
Yes, 15 times.
Yeah, that's a good love shove right there.
Yeah. Like I think the net profit off of that was 20 times more. So I was like, we're going to do this now, you guys. Just until we can, I'm Jackie, I'm sure you know this, like marketing to consumers is expensive, direct to consumer. That 1-to-1, those meta ads, I mean, it's insane.
Right.
And the reporting sucks. So actually selling B2B and having a salesperson call and, oh my gosh, this is a pain point I'm having. It's a one-call close, so much easier. So with the limited resources we have, the limited team, we're fully in on B2B now. And then I think once we reach that profitability point, we're going to reinvest in residential.
Yeah. I know. B2B, I'm a big fan of B2B. I mean, that's what our agency has built its reputation on for 25 plus years. And it makes me so happy every day. The B2C stuff is for the birds.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, they keep changing things. Right. I mean, every time I log into Meta, I'm like, what is this new fresh hell? Like, I don't know how anybody can keep up with it. And then the reporting is like, we got you 5 users. And you're like, where? I don't see it. Right. Just trust us. It's like, no, absolutely not.
Exactly. So let's talk corporate culture for a minute. You have, I would imagine, some people in office, but then most of your people are working from their homes, literally. How do you balance the culture of that?
Yeah, so we started out in office in Lafayette, and then we ended up sort of moving around and hiring more of a remote team, and now we're 100% remote, which I love and I hate. I'm the only one in Dallas, which is weird. I get really lonely. I'm an extrovert, so I love to be with people and feel the energy. So I'd love to go back to the office, but for right now, we're all sort of all over the place. For me, we do a daily stand-up every day. I'm constantly changing our meeting structure to see what works. We don't ever have a meeting because we've always had the meeting. I'm constantly, every quarter, why are we meeting? What's the purpose? What's the goal? So the meetings we do have are really impactful and super productive. And then I make sure with my team, we're having biweekly one-on-ones, and then like the people who report directly to me. And then at least once a quarter, I'm physically going to see them and look into their eyeballs so that we get that energy together, which is nice.
Awesome. How far spread out are they all?
So we have someone as far west as Utah in Salt Lake, and then as far east as Brooklyn. Okay. So we're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. But you like to travel, so that actually works to your advantage.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons we moved to Dallas was I was constantly flying everywhere, and I would lose a whole day and I would stop in DFW. And my family lives here. I grew up here. So I thought, we just need to cut out the middleman so I don't have to lose a whole day to travel. And now I can go 3 hours in either direction, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're having to, you're able to skip that last regional connection.
Yes. Which was always like the 9 o'clock flight. Correct. And then it would get delayed and you're like,
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. No, we've had those conversations, and I think, I don't travel as much as you do. And so it's a little easier for me, but the commute of that Atlanta to Lafayette hop, I would rather, for me, live at a regional location and have the 4-minute drive every day and occasionally do the regional hop. But what you're doing, you're traveling so much more often. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I've done like one-day turns. So when I had to hire a go-to-market lead, I flew to Brooklyn for the day, met with her, hopped back on a plane and got home. And that's so nice to be able to do that.
It's a commute. Like anybody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So because you don't have the tech money that's pushing you to declare a, 2000% return on their investment and the exit strategy in 4 days, what do you think long term? Is this a company you want to run forever? Do you have your next iteration in mind for another startup?
Yeah, I didn't know this about myself until I started this company, but I'm a builder and I love to just solve problems and think like laundry is a problem I was having. Let me fix it. So I do think that I have a few more up my sleeve. Um, One of which we actually, my co-founder and I have built on the side on like nights and weekends because we just aren't crazy enough. And it's a route planning tool. And so, yeah, it's kind of neat. I was doing outside sales for Hampr, driving all around DFW, and I used ChatGPT. I said, "Here's where I'm going. Tell me how to get from A to B in the best way possible." It doesn't know how to do it. Like it was routing me all over, and I was like, "I was just here," and I was complaining to my co-founder Ryan, and he said, "I think I can build that." And so he did. He built me a route planning tool that does stop by stops, and then I can add in little notes and things like that. So, we have that kind of running on the side. Um, but I think eventually we'll get to profitability and find a strategic buyer for Hampr, and then I'll go off and build something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What were
it's
some of your
fun.
big decisions that helped you get to where you are now?
Oh
If you were to
gosh.
say some of the
I
big
think,
moves.
yeah, I mean, I think it's been a journey. I mean, we've made a lot of changes. Initially we started as direct to consumer. We were spending a lot on paid acquisition. We realized we have some great founders that are in our corner and have been there, done that, and operators that have become our mentors. And one of them said to me very gently, "I think you're addicted to paid spend. And I think you need to stop because you need to see exactly like what the growth engine looks like without it." And that was a hard decision to make because we were on this track to 5x growth, but it wasn't sustainable or scalable because it was costing so much money. And so we did. We stopped for a month. We committed to it and decided not to spend anything. And the acquisition of our users didn't exponentially decrease. And so that was a big aha moment for me of like, question everything. Like, even stuff that's working, why is it working? And I think, we're always looking at the bad parts and what's going wrong. But sometimes there might be something hiding in plain sight that you don't even know about. And that was one of those moments for me.
Yeah.
I love that, Laurel.
Yeah.
When did y'all cross the million in annual revenue mark? What year was that?
2020, 2021, I think,
So is that year
which was
two?
pretty quickly, year two.
Okay.
Yeah. It was either right. We were very close. I think we were just under. So we probably crossed it like right at the beginning of 2022.
Did that feel like a big landmark to you? Did you blow
You know,
past it so quick that it was like, "Pfft, next"?
That's kind of the funny thing about building. You're always, especially when you're having to look ahead, it's so hard to celebrate the wins because you're like, okay, I got to do this. And then you do it. You're like, okay, now I have to do this and this. And you're constantly looking for the next rung on the ladder. So we don't, and any startup is like this, just a really, really bad habit of not celebrating the wins when they happen. So we've tried to make more of an effort to do that. But unfortunately, we did not celebrate. We were growing so quickly at the time, all we could see was all the fires everywhere. So we quietly passed the milestone and then kept building.
Yeah. Yeah. As you've been, building and growing, what's something big that kind of almost broke you that you were like, "Oh, this could be we may have misjudged this whole thing. We may have been wrong."
um, that's a really good question. There's been a lot of little, I think it's more like a death by a thousand cuts. It hasn't been any one big thing. It's been the quiet moments when you're looking at the model and the numbers don't make sense. And you're like, oh, what am I not getting? Was it something I didn't get a month ago or 6 years ago? It's like, how big, how catastrophic is this? And then just sitting and working it until you figure it out and realizing that there's no one big moment of like, oops, we misjudged that because people are signing up, people are using the service. So there's clearly a need and it's growing. I mean, even on the residential side, it's growing organically now. We're not even paying for users and they're still showing up. But I think it's those little things where you just kind of question it when it doesn't quite make sense. And I've had moments where I've kind of rebelled like a teenager to some of my advisors. I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh, I think I figured it out.
Is that complete with stomping and slamming the door? I mean, a full teenager meltdown?
I mean, it feels like a tantrum inside of just like, like I didn't get it right. And I feel like this angst. And then I kind of have a meltdown, and then I kind of sit and look at stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I'm better now. I figured it out.
So then what advice would you have, to folks in your shoes 5, 10 years ago, where you have an idea or they're feeling like they're going uphill and what's possible? What advice do you have for the people behind you?
Yeah, I think that's actually really interesting, the idea of going uphill. You don't know how close you are to the summit. You just don't know. You could be one step away. So just keep going, because what if you would hate to give up and you're so close and you just don't know it? Or you could be still going uphill for like another year or two. Like you just don't know. But if you are still excited about the problem you're solving and you still are trying to figure it out and troubleshoot, then you're still in it and you're going to figure it out. And I think that's just not knowing. Like we can't see around the curve. So don't give up.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting, Laurel. I think you and I kind of approach it from the same direction. I think Melissa does too, actually. All three of us as entrepreneurs, we're solving problems. We are helping people figure out something that wasn't working, and we're helping them figure out how to do it better, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
And I would imagine when you were still back at Rally, you may have come across companies that I come across on a regular basis that don't think about their business that way. They don't think about it as solving problems. They think about it as selling something. I make
Yeah.
something, I need you to buy the thing I make.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody really has this opportunity to truly approach a big universal problem with such a unique, special solution like Hampr does. How do you help companies who maybe aren't as uniquely unicorn in the sense that they're solving a problem that nobody else is solving that way, and start to see it as problem solving? Stop talking about themselves and start talking about the people that they're actually helping. What's that shift?
Yeah, it's kind of what you said earlier. It's nobody wants to buy something that someone's selling. That's just a yucky feeling already. So I always look at it as, who are you in service to? Be in service to someone. And that changes everything. Then it's not, I'm not selling to you. I'm giving you a lifeline. I just want to be, and I talk to clients all the time that say, oh, I love my current laundry provider. Cool. Stay with them. That's
Right.
great. That is not the norm. So if you really like what you're doing, stick with it. And if anything changes, you know where to find us. And if you're in service to whoever you talk to and all you care about is their well-being and them solving their issue, then like you're going to be successful.
Yeah. Mission first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So as you've kind of been going through all these lessons, whether it's on the startup side, the solving problem side, the investor side, is there one particular lesson that stands out to you as like kind of a V8 moment of, oh man, like that was big?
Oh, let me think about that one. I made one really big mistake early on that was kind of funny and ended up being really useful. If that's is that in the vein of your question?
Yep.
Yeah. So early on, we didn't have a lot of capital, but we needed to start scaling and acquiring users. And so I, who was an account manager, not a digital strategist, decided I could run Facebook ads because, hello, I'm a woman, I can do whatever I want. And so I tried to launch ads. And we were only operating in Lafayette and New Orleans at the time, and maybe Baton Rouge. So I should have geo-targeted, right? Okay, so the way Facebook works is, at the time, there were different levels to set that geo-target, and I thought I had done it correctly. But you guys, I had actually launched the entire country, and I let it run for 2 weeks, and I ended up making lemonade, but I spent $3,000 we did not have. And at the time, I think our current burn was like $10,000. So it was a big deal. And I was so mad at myself. But what ended up happening was now we had this blueprint across the country of what markets to launch next because we could see market demand across the country. So what was catastrophic, like the very next day, became actually strategy to launching additional markets and figuring out where do we go now? And then every now and then we'll just run national ads when we were doing consumer to see who wants this, where is it being downloaded, who's clicking on it. And so that became a strategy. It was really funny.
That is definitely lemonade. I mean, like, I would have lost my mind thinking, I just spent that much money on something. Yeah.
I did. I was like, oops, I shouldn't have done that. And then my co-founder was like, oh, hey, a bunch of people are downloading this app in Phoenix, Arizona. What's the deal with that? And then we launched Phoenix, Arizona, and it's one of our biggest markets.
Go ahead.
And that's how you get to 20 states in a very short amount of time.
And that's how you become one of the 1.9% of women who scaled your business to the kind of success you got.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
What's one myth about a successful woman in business that you wish would disappear?
Oh, God. I think this is going to be maybe like a hot take. But I think it's the idea of work-life balance. I just don't, I really love boundaries. And when you're running a company, life is going to bleed into work and work's going to bleed into life. There's been many a weekend that I am in my room figuring things out or working, and it just is what it is. It's what has to get done. And so I think that the biggest myth that we get sold is that you can find a way to balance it all and you can find a way to totally bifurcate it, but I don't think you can, at least not in a way that feels meaningful, which means allowing yourself in the middle of the day to just take your kids, if it's summer break and they want to go to the movies, do that because you're probably going to be catching up on the weekend or at night or answering a Slack message. So I think we have to let go of this idea that productivity is sitting at your desk from 8 to 5 because it's usually not.
Yeah, it's not like symmetrical. It's not equal. It's just, can we be aligned in it? So then you're aligned in your values to your family, aligned in your values to your life, aligned in your values to your business, but it's not like equal dividends in each.
Yeah, there's no hard, fast rule with any of it. And I think especially now that we're so connected and people can have access to you at any time of day, it's just really hard to maintain those lines.
We're kind of getting into some signature questions that we have for our bossy ladies of this podcast. What's your relationship to the term bossy?
Ooh, I guess I don't think about it much. Bossy feels like a negative feeling. Like when people call someone bossy, it's not ideal to be bossy. I don't think that way. I think it's just owning something and standing in your own confidence.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. Usually when they say bossy, they mean assertive and they're just trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah. And when all's said and done, what kind of leader do you hope, how do you feel like you would want people to think about you as a leader?
100% a servant leader. I'm high empathy, feelings first. I will not start a meeting unless it's tell me about your weekend. How are you feeling? You as a person, I care more about the person than I do anything else. And that helps too when the conversations get tougher, because I don't believe there are any bad people. I think there's just bad fits sometimes and things evolve and change. And so if you always think about the human first, you can't go wrong. So definitely servant leadership.
I like that.
If your younger self could see you now, what would she say?
Oh my God. I think she'd be really proud and not super surprised, because when I want to do something, I just crash right into it like a bull in a china shop. And I think she'd be really excited that I've managed to just keep figuring things out and trying new things. And I didn't stop. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. And if you had told my 25-year-old self, oh, when you're in your 40s, you're going to be running this company that you started out of nothing, I think she'd be really excited about that. Because she would be scared, going, how are we going to do that? Tell me the exact steps. It would feel very foreign.
Are you an exact steps, or are you leap first, figure out how you're going to land later?
I used to be exact steps. I used to be very much like, if I don't know what the next thing is to do, how can we do it? But I have this mantra that I adopted when I started my first company called Do It Scared, because I would be so paralyzed with fear, like, what's going to happen? I need to know exactly what's going to happen. And then I had a friend say, do you want to actually do this? And I said, yes. And she goes, well, then you have to do it scared. You just have to do it while being afraid. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was an option. So now, even when I'm super terrified, I know that means I'm growing and learning, and I just do it anyway.
Yeah. On the spectrum of progress being a 1 and perfection being a 10, where do you fall on that scale? Do you lean more towards the progress or more towards the perfection these days?
Yeah, I'm way more towards progress. I
Yeah.
am, especially running a startup. Perfection is the like evil, like compared to done. Done is better than perfect, and so I am just more for inertia and movement forward. I mean, it has to have a purpose. There needs to be kill criteria, and you have to know why you're doing the thing you're doing, but just do it. I don't, if we're talking about something for more than a day, I get real antsy. Just try it, just do it.
That's awesome. When all is said and done, what do you want your legacy as a leader to be?
Um, I just would hope that anyone that worked with me just felt comfortable and confident to speak their mind and be exactly who they are and give the best ideas possible that they have, and then pay that forward and be that kind of leader for other people, where you have space to mess up and make mistakes because we're human, and you have space to just try weird things and say that weird idea that you're afraid of saying in the middle of the meeting, but you have a space where you feel confident and comfortable to do that, and then they create those spaces for other people wherever they go next. That would be so perfect.
I love that answer. I've never wanted this podcast to have any kind of gender bashing to it. It's really about uplifting women. But I think I could ask 100 guys and would get that answer 0 times.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's a very good girl answer.
Yeah, it's that mentality of like, when one of us wins, we all win. Like a rising
Yes.
tide lifts all boats. And
Yes.
I think that's almost uniquely feminine thing.
Yes. And I think part of that's just DNA biology, makeup. Part of it is rearing. And so I think it's environment and uh how we're built. But it is, I think, the reason why it's so important that we have things like this to help lift women up, because we need that balance in the corporate world that I don't think we've really had before.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I mean,
told,
oh, sorry.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
I've worked in many male dominated fields. When I was at the Superdome, it was super, super male dominated. And I watched my female boss navigate that world so beautifully. And she created that environment and space for us and existed within their boundaries, which they had, of things she could and couldn't say or the way we could act. And she kind of took a lot of that on the chin for us to have that space to be so collaborative and connected, which was really great.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot. I really wanted to thank you for Championship Square. And what was the other one? Wait, what was
Club
the other one?
44.
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
yeah, that was a labor of love. I was at the Superdome when we started construction on that in 2010, and I created the first rental packages for that. I created the tagline. I don't know if they use it anymore, but it was the Winner Circle Redefined. And it was such a cool experience to open up a brand new venue, 2 brand new venues, while being there. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm a NOLA girl. My family as season ticket holders for like 40 something years, and yeah, epic memories. So yeah, kudos for that.
That is my home. That is my second home. I was there for 5 years. I worked 12-hour days, like 6 days a week. I was always there. I went back for the Taylor Swift concert in October of last year, and I just cried because that building made me the person I am. And it was so cool to see her, like, I love Taylor Swift, to see Taylor Swift in my home. It was like, oh my gosh.
And a beautiful, and yeah, Taylor's version of New Orleans was beautiful. And Laurel, I'm sure you know Jackie is like your other fan of Taylor. Like
huge Swiftie.
Best.
Yeah.
She and I share a birthday, so I feel like we're cosmically connected.
Totally. I'm so jealous now that you get to have that birthday. That's awesome.
Right. I'm a little older than her, but yeah, same birthday. So
That is
funny.
fantastic. You know, as we talk about kind of things that are uniquely feminine versus masculine and how that shows up, I think that um, you shared with me some surprising information around female led businesses and their challenges with investing or getting investors.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit to that? Because I think that's a big part of what you've had to overcome for this.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a stat. Hope I don't get it wrong, but it's something like less than 1% of venture funding goes to female-run companies, which is crazy because if you look at the results of female-run companies, we are something like 5 times more likely to be profitable and to hit our numbers. And we actually outperform male-run companies, but we get less than a fraction of the funding that they get, which is just so crazy to me. And a lot of it is pattern matching. And what happens in the room psychologically, there's a study done. When women are pitching, men are asking questions to disprove them. Why is it like that? Why is it this way? Or how did you arrive at this? And I'm trying to figure out why you got to be where you are. Whereas with men, when they pitch, it is more about forward-looking things. Well, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do in 5 years? It's always about, I'm assuming you're going to win, so let's talk about the future. Whereas with women, it's prove to me you deserve to be here. That was just, I forgot what study did it, who did the study, but it was something like they reviewed a bunch of calls and pitches, and that was what they found, was that investors ask backward-facing questions to women and forward-facing questions to men. So it is a rigged system. And we need more women in venture to change it. And it is such a boys' club. And it's been really slow. But every woman I've talked to that's a founder is committed to making it better for the next woman that comes behind her.
And I think this is public knowledge. So I think I could say it out loud that you have one of the best women investors in the state of Louisiana on your
Yes.
list of investors. Am I right about that?
You are correct. So Benson Capital Partners is our biggest investor, longest running investor. They invested in 2021. They've continued to support us over the past few years. Mrs. Gail Benson is an absolute treasure. Just the bossiest of boss ladies, the best. And she has been such a wonderful supporter of ours. We did an interview together for the NFL Network. I just adore her and her team, and they care so much about the ecosystem and Louisiana in general. And I'm just really grateful that they're in our corner.
That's incredible, Laurel.
Yeah. And that's a full circle moment for me. Like,
right.
Just having worked at the Dome, I worked for the company that managed the building. So I didn't work directly with the Saints organization, but they're just awesome people.
Did that help you score really good tickets when Taylor came to town?
No, it didn't. It's so funny because my sister, actually, we call her the Crystal Child. She is just the luckiest person I know. And she got the Taylor lottery twice. So we actually, yes, we got to see her in Houston for $50. And then when it came again, I said, try to get tickets to New Orleans. And she did it. She nailed it. And then ended up getting tickets on like the 200 level for $100, like $150.
Whoa.
Like she is the luckiest person.
No joke. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. And then we stayed at the Holiday House, that whole fracas. I don't know if you guys know about that. It happened in New Orleans with that woman who had the block of hotel rooms. And then there was a bunch of drama afterwards, but we only stayed in the hotel. We didn't do any of her events, but yeah, it was crazy.
Fascinating. Mm-hmm. Fascinating. Yeah. All right. This is the time for the lightning round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'll go first and then Melissa and I will rotate through these. So Laurel, what's your morning routine?
Oh, I wake up at 6 or 7, depending on if it's a school day or not. My husband makes me coffee. I have a peanut butter bagel while I watch TikTok. And I drink my coffee and then I will get up. So it takes about 30 minutes. I have to have the slow wake up period. And then I get up and I'll go for a 2-mile walk. And then I come home and I start working and I forget to actually get dressed half the time. So by 4 o'clock, I'm still in workout clothes and no makeup on, unless I have a meeting, and then I'll throw it on really fast.
I love that the peanut butter bagel is so very specific.
It's the same breakfast every day.
And Jackie kind of taught me like eliminating a lot of decisions kind of helps with your brain power for the decisions on the big stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what was your first job ever?
It's okay. Tied to the peanut butter bagel. I worked at Einstein Bagels in Plano, Texas, and I made bagel sandwiches.
Delish. That
Yeah.
full circle moment.
I love
That's
bagels.
awesome.
Galen bagels.
Biggest business splurge that you do not regret?
Ooh, biggest business splurge. That would have to be our company retreat that we took in Austin. It was a really big house. It fit all of us. Everybody got their own bed. And it was such a cool moment to see what we've created and have everybody come together in one place. I don't regret that for a second. It was a fairly bigger expense at the time. We had budgeted for it, but still it felt indulgent, but it was great.
It's awesome.
Nice. What's the last thing that made you feel powerful?
Oh, interesting. I got nominated and I found out I was a semifinalist last week for the Emerging CEO in DFW. And so I have an interview for that tomorrow. And that felt really
congrats.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know how many semifinalists there are. I don't know what the landscape looks like, but just to even have made it that far and to have someone nominate me felt really cool. So that's probably the last thing.
Nice, Laurel. Congrats.
No,
Thanks.
that's very big. What is your go-to pump-up song?
Ooh, this changes. let me think. What's the latest one I've been listening to? Oh my God, I am drawing a blank now, Jackie.
You can really pick any song at this point if you want to.
Can I cheat, actually? I need
Yes,
to
look it
up. I know I have it. It's in my playlists, but it's been a minute. Actually, this is really sad about me. I don't listen to songs. I listen to podcasts or silence in the car, which is like weird.
Silence in the car. Are you a serial killer?
I might be.
No,
Okay.
Laurel, so that's interesting. I have learned that about myself in the past several years, that I don't have music on the way that I used to when I was younger. It's either quiet, and now it's podcasts.
Y'all are
So
weirdos.
I know this is the weird. I don't like live music, but I used to have to escort the media in the pit at the Superdome, and it was like the worst thing for me because I'm like, people, like all these people, and it's loud. And I have sensory issues. And so it doesn't occur to me when I'm in the car that it's dead silent until I'm like, oh, I should probably put something on. So I'm afraid I don't have my pump up song at the ready because it's been a minute since I needed it. But there was a time when I had something going on, and I was going through a really difficult fundraise, and I listened to one song on repeat, but that was 3 years ago, and I can't remember what it is. I'm so sorry.
What's your
Was
go-to
it Hold
podcast?
My Hand by Jess Glynn?
No.
That's kind of my go-to during COVID. Yeah, favorite podcast.
What's your go-to podcast right now?
So I listen to, it has a curse word in it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, it's called Shut the Fuck Up, Nick Lachey. And it is where Ellen Marsh and Daisy Egan recap Love is Blind. And so I love Love is Blind. And so they're currently doing season 3. They go back to old seasons, and when the new seasons come out, they do the newer seasons, but it's so fun.
That makes me want to add the question, Jackie, like what's your current guilty pleasure or indulgence? Yeah, Love is Blind. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Nick Lachey, as in Jessica Simpson's ex-husband?
Yeah, so he hosts Love is Blind with his current wife, Vanessa Lachey. And they just want him to shut the fuck up.
Okay. I love it. I don't watch the show, obviously. And I just wondered if they were just taking shots at him for fun. So at least he's a part of the show. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Okay, that's good. That's very good. That's awesome. I have now lost track of, it's Melissa's turn.
What's a book every leader should read?
Anything by Steve Chandler. He is a life coach and just a really fascinating thinker. And he has this really cool thought on victim versus owner mindset. And it's 100% a must read for anyone who's running a team, and to figure out who are the victims on your org and who are the owners, really quickly weed out that victim mindset. And and only promote the owner mindsets because it's going to create such a much better environment for everybody.
And you said Stephen Chandler?
Steve Chandler. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. What's the most bossy thing you've ever done?
Ooh, there's probably not one thing in particular. Probably starting Hampr, and I have a really good relationship with my co-founder, who's one of my best friends, but we didn't work together beforehand. And I'm very bossy with him all the time. And we'll be in a meeting and we'll start to kind of like, I call it fighting. It's like, we're like brother and sister. And I just kind of like put my foot down. I'm like, but we're doing it this way because I said we're going to do it. And he'll say things. Sometimes he doesn't listen all the time in the meetings. He's a lovely human, but he'll say something I just said. And I'm like, well, now that a man said it, can we all agree to do it? And I just call him out in the middle of whenever that happens. Or if he interrupts me, I get really mad about it. But I love him. Like, we have a great relationship.
Yeah, because if he uses his hands, if he repeats it and uses his hands, that makes it great.
Yeah, and then we're all agreed. But that has to happen before it's a good idea, you know?
Oh.
What's one word you want people to associate with your leadership?
Empathy.
I love that word. It's a woo word.
Yeah, that's like so important. I care so deeply, and I have ruinous empathy. If you guys have ever read Radical Candor, it can be bad, but I try to harness it for good.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
You're speaking
favorite
to my
beverage
of heart.
I was like, yeah, y'all are besties now. Favorite beverage: coffee, tea, champagne. Like, what's your drink of choice?
Diet Cherry Coke.
Oh, Diet Cherry Coke. A very specific one.
You can only get this at Kroger right now. It's a limited release, but I'm so excited it's back. It's my favorite thing. It's with me all the time.
That's awesome.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
If money wasn't an object, I would be writing terrible fiction. Just terrible fiction. And it would be great. I would love it.
Okay. All right. Last one. And so we're going to wrap up. Do you see another evolution of you coming?
Yes. I think as humans, we're always evolving. I want to be 80 and still changing and figuring out what else could I do? What other things could I do? I remember being at a job and we were working on goals. Like, what does your next 10 years look like? And one of the older people that I worked with, he was probably in his 50s, said, well, I'm old. This is me. This is it. And I thought, oh, that's so depressing. So yeah, I hope there's many more evolutions on the way.
You're good. I love that. Yeah. Laurel, you've been awesome. We are so excited for your success and Hampr's growth. And as you continue to build the shit out of that business, we want you to come back and give us updates because I think you're doing really great things.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. This was one of the most fun podcasts I've done.
Yay.
Okay. Yay for us. That's awesome.
And good luck on your interview. But regardless of how the interview for the award, congrats on the nomination for sure.
Thank you. We think you're a CEO to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.